Hey, Kellen and Hallie, we are on 4-1, and we just have part 2, which is just talking about odds and then an example. You guys are going to want to write this down.
Done yet.
There is quite a few parts to example 9, and it is a little intricate and a little tricky. Okay, so be prepared. All right, odds. Let's talk odds. Let's talk probability real quick. Probability. How do you find a probability? What over what?
Your number over total.
What you want or your number, whatever, over the total. Okay? So let's say I want to find the probability of a heart and a deck of cards. What's the probability of hearts in a deck of cards? How many hearts are there? 13 out of 52 or 1/4. I have a 1/4. I have a 1/4 probability of choosing a heart. Okay? Versus odds. Here's the difference between probability and odds. Okay, here's the difference between probability and odds. Odds is what you want over what you don't want. And a lot of times, odds is written with a colon. Okay, so it's like a something to something odds. Let me do this. Something to something odds, right? So if I'm talking about the odds of a heart, odds of heart. How does that change? If it's a 1 in 4 probability, what's the odds? It's a 1 to 3 odds. There's one card that is a heart for every 3 cards that's not a heart. Does that make sense? 1 to 3 odds. Now, you guys will see, and next time you see it, pay attention to whether it's used in the correct context, especially on like Sports Center or like ESPN or whatever, Big Ten Network, whatever. They a lot of times will use the word odds when they actually mean probability, and vice versa, right? You never hear people on Sports Center or whatever say, oh, the probability of them winning, blah, blah, blah. No, it's always the odds of them winning. But they actually give you a probability and not an odds. They use the word odds, but they don't mean odds. They mean probability. Does that make sense? Okay? So next time you see that, if you're watching Sports Center or ESPN or Big Ten Network, whatever, and you hear them use the word odds, see if they actually use it correctly, because I'm guessing they probably don't, right? They use it in the context of what you want over the total. So they actually mean probability, but they say odds, right? Okay? So like a lot of the time it is used incorrectly because odds and probability are not the same thing. Odds is what you want over what you don't want. So like 1 to 3 odds versus 1/4. Okay, let's do another example. Probability of, let's say probability of flipping a heads. What's the probability of getting heads on a coin? 1/2, right? What's the odds of heads? Yeah, it's a 1-to-1 odds. Oop, let me go equals. Equals 1 to 1. So for every coin flip that you have that's a heads, you have one coin that is not a heads, right? That's the odds is a 1-to-1 odds. Make sense? Okay? So that's how that works. When you're converting from odds to probability, you add these two together and that gives you your bottom number. True? Yeah. Okay, not that hard of a concept, but again, it is used incorrectly a ton of times. All right, so let's go down here. Odds makes it easier to deal with money associated with gambling, and that's why odds is commonly used in casinos, lotteries, racetracks, those type of things, right? If you guys go to the racetrack, you guys go to the horse races in Grand Island, anybody?
No.
They give you odds of like that horse winning, and then they tell you like whether they put like an asterisk next to it if that horse was given steroids recently for its nose to cauterize the nose because that's supposed to make you run faster and stuff. But then they also give you the odds of them winning, and then you place bets based on that, right? That is odds. That is their chances of winning versus their chances of not winning, right? So like here, odds is win versus not win. Does that make sense? Versus probability would be win over total runs or total races. Okay? Wins versus not wins over wins versus total races, right? That's what probability is. So probabilities are a lot of times used in the math world because they make calculations easier. So mathematicians, scientists, researchers, those people, we use probabilities. They use odds when we're dealing with money, things like gambling, things like I don't know, stuff like that. Casinos, lotteries, racetracks, all that type of stuff. That is odds because it's easier to make calculations with when you're dealing with money, okay? So odds against. So odds in favor, I'm going to go down here. Odds in favor would be what you want over what you don't want, right? That's odds in favor, right? What would odds against be? don't want over want. Does that make sense? Okay, so if I want, let's say a 3 on a dice, what's the odds?
3 to 3. Or 3 over 6.
Nope. Odds of getting a 3 on a dice. What are the odds?
1 to 5.
How many is a 3? One side is a 3 versus how many sides are not a 3? 5, okay? This is, then we do odds against. Odds against, what's the odds against getting a 3? 5 to 1, right? Do we see how that works, right? It just flips it. So odds in favor, I should say odds favor. Odds in favor of a 3 is 1 to 5. Odds against a 3 is 5 to 1, right? Okay, I want a 3 on a dice. That's what that looks like, okay? And then we have payoff odds, which associate money to it. Let me see what they write down for payoff odds. Against event A occurring are the ratio of net profit if you win to the amount bet. So it is net profit. Whoop, net profit versus the amount bet. Okay, we'll see an example of that. So payoff odds is the net profit that you will get versus the amount that you bet. Okay. Oh yeah, right here. Huh. Payoff odds. All right, we're going to do this one. Example 9. There's an example like this. It's number 41, I think, on your homework. Okay, so you're going to come back to this example 9 to do 41. All right, here we go. If you bet $5 on the number 13 in roulette, okay, there's a roulette wheel, and there is how many slots on a roulette wheel?
Like 99.
38, if you keep reading. 38 on a roulette wheel, okay? But the payoff odds are given by the casino as 31 to 5. Okay, so, or 35 to 1. So let's talk about the probability of winning. Okay, then let's talk about odds of winning. Okay, before we do this, and let's do odds against win. Okay, we're going to talk about each one of these against a win. Okay, before we start doing ABC, we're gonna list out all of these. All right. So if we're betting on the number 13, right? There are 38 slots. By the way, the 38 slots are 0, 0, 0, and then 1 through 36. That's what a roulette wheel looks like. You will see that. I think they describe that in your homework problem, like number 41 they go through. So you have 0, you have double 0, and then you have 1 through 36, all right? 13 is only one of those slots, so the probability of winning is 1 over 38, okay? What is my odds of winning? What is my odds of winning? Odds of winning would be win to not win. 1 to 37, right? Okay. What's my odds against winning? 37 to 1, right? I have 37 opportunities to lose and 1 opportunity to win, according to that, right?
Odds to win are not 1 to 37. It's like 1 to 300.
Well, yeah, because they rig it and they cheat, right?
Vegas.
So lose to win is 37 to 1, right? Okay, now here's what they do though. Here's what casinos do. They make it so that the payoff odds, right? So like the amount of money that they pay to you will not end up being 37 times what you bet, right? So here's what happens. If I bet $5 and they do it fairly, I should win 37 times that $5 amount, right? 37 times 5 is 150 plus 35. So 185 is what I should win, right? I should win $185. Got it? Which really means like I net 180 because $5 was already myself. Like I already paid it in, but whatever. Anyway, so I should win 185, but they don't do it that way. They say we are going to knock it down to a 35 to 1. Even though your odds against winning is 37 to 1, I'm going to change that and I'm going to go 35 to 1. Where does that extra 2 go? Those extra 2 like things in there, which is worth how much money? $10. Where does that extra $10 go each time? In their pocket, because they want to make sure they're profiting. Does that make sense? Okay, so they don't give you a 37 to 1, even though that's what the odds against winning should look like. They give you a 35 to 1. And you're only winning 35 times as much money instead of 37 times as much money. Does that make sense? Okay.
18, I'm going to the casinos in Oklahoma.
That's silly. You're going to lose.
It's not
Okay, so find the actual odds. Find the actual odds against a 13. We have it over here. Which one's the actual odds against a 13? 37 to 1. 37 to 1. Okay? How much net profit would you make if you win by betting $5? If it's 37 to 1. If you bet $5 and you win,
170.
you should win how much? 185, which is actually, right? If you do, it says
But I thought it was 30.
how much net profit would you make? How much would you make?
Okay, would be 180.
Wait a second.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
If the casino was not operating for profit and the payoff odds were changed to match the actual odds. No. I think B is going off at the 35. So you're right. B is going off of the 35 to 1 odds.
Coach, you want to know how to win? Every
How much
time?
net profit would you make if you bet $5, all right? So here we're going to multiply by 35 and not 37 because they're going off of that number, right? 35 times 5 is 175, but how much is net profit? Net profit would be 170, right? Do you see why it's 170 and not 175? $5 was already mine. Okay, so I'm going to net profit 170, okay? But then C says if the casino was not operating for profit, if they're not pocketing that $10 every time, and the payoff odds were changed to match the actual odds. So the payoff odds was 35 to 1. 35 to 1. The actual was 37 to 1. If they say, okay, we're going to change it so that those match, how much would you win if the outcome were 13? Here you're winning 170. How much would you win over here? If you take 37 times 5, that's 185, but $5 was actually yours, so you would win an additional $10 if it matched the actual odds. But again, that $10 every time is going in their pocket, right? So the answer to part C is $180, right?
Dude, did you even know this?
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Wonder why you let it start.
Bloop.
It's cool.
Coach,
All right, what?
You know how you win every time? Put it all on red. And
That
just
sounds
let-
like a good way of losing
and then
every
just
time.
Let it ride.
That sounds like a good way of losing every time.
Nope.
It's like the stock market. My grandpa that passed away when I was like 17 years old, he was like, he got married and he had $67 to his name. 67, whatever. Anyway, okay. He had $67 to his name and he like built his wealth on like farming, but also like investing money in the stock market. And he said, never invest money in the stock market or gamble anything that you're not like okay with losing. I'm like, that's a good way to abide by.
So like, take $100 and put it all on red.
If you're okay with losing that $100, you go for it.
Well, I'm not gonna lose it. that's
Okay,
the
but
thing.
if you win,
You get nothing, come at her, because she didn't teach you nothing.
true. If you win, get out.
Well, yeah. I'm not-
Okay, don't keep going. If you win, you take
No, so here's-
take your money and leave.
Here's the thing: you put $100 on red, you win. You let it ride one more time. You win again, then you leave.
Well, what if you lose it all?
Right. And then you keep going.
$100.
Yeah, then you keep going, and that's how people get addicted to gambling. Terrible. Okay, so that is number 41. 42, I'm sorry, 42.
Good idea.
Okay? That is what they're asking. Good? Okay,
Put
there you go.
$100 on, you win.
All right.
Take that $100.
Put it back in your pocket.
Questions
Whatever you
before I
win,
stop the
so
video
that's
for
it.
those two
You ain't
juniors?
losing nothing.
Yeah.
No, we're good? Okay, goodbye.
Think about it.